I don't buy for a minute that he's going to prison without getting out of here somewhere and stashing $2 billion or whatever. I think he has that kind of power, meaning Sean himself. But remember, it goes a lot deeper than that.
You know, there's a short life in
why do you think that is with the creative side?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much to try and deal with life.
Sean Diddy Combs, once a colossus towering over the music and entertainment industry, now finds himself shackled not just by the weight of legal accusations, but by the crushing betrayal of the one person he likely thought would never waver, his own mother. But Janice Combs' Courtroom has become more than a battleground for his innocence. It's a stage where the unspooling threads of family loyalty, power, and scandal are laid bare for the world to dissect, and if the stakes weren't already. Astronomical, the shocking revelations about Janice herself have turned an already devastating legal drama into something almost Shakespearean.
Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people for sure on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures, and entertainers, business people. So, do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein himself? And of course not. Of course not.
Inside the Manhattan courtroom, the air is heavy with tension. Federal prosecutors, emboldened by mounting testimony and evidence, are painting a picture of a man who spiraled into a vortex of control and indulgence. Diddy faces a slew of charges from conspiracy to coercion, and the prosecution isn't holding back. They're determined to expose years of alleged misconduct, layering their arguments with chilling anecdotes and the damning accounts of accusers. But for all their efforts, the absence of a crucial witness, dubbed Victim 3, leaves a gaping hole in their case. It's a thorny issue that Diddy's defense team is quick to exploit, arguing that the missing testimony raises more questions than answers. Where is she? And why won't she testify? One of Diddy's attorneys boldly asked, turning the courtroom scrutiny back onto the government's case. And yet this isn't just a trial of facts and evidence. The emotional undercurrents are impossible to ignore, especially when Diddy himself takes a stand. Not to testify, but to simply sit and endure the world's judgment. His nervous energy is palpable. He fidgets, occasionally whispers to his lawyers, and at one point even apologizes to the judge for requesting a brief pause. "I'm sorry, Your Honor," he mutters, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm a little nervous today." It's a rare glimpse of vulnerability in a man who's built an empire on bravado. But outside the courtroom, that empire is crumbling piece by piece.
Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
The most devastating blow, however, didn't come from the prosecutors or the media frenzy. It came from Janice Combs herself. Once his fiercest offender, Janice has now taken a step back, or perhaps even a step against him, in a series of statements through her attorney. Janice has expressed a mixture of heartbreak and ambiguous support. "My son is not perfect." She admitted a phrase that landed like a thunderclap amid the trial's chaos. She acknowledged his past struggles and mistakes, even referencing incidents of aggression that have long been whispered about, but rarely confirmed. "Like every human being, my son deserves his day in court." She said her words towing a delicate line between maternal instinct and public accountability. But what stunned many wasn't her tempered defense. It was a subtle way she distanced herself, as though preparing for the worst. For years, Janice was a central figure in Diddy's narrative, the rock-solid matriarch who stood by his side at music awards, business launches, and personal milestones. This was the same woman he once described as a superhero, crediting her for instilling in him the relentless work ethic that propelled him to fame. She was there when he gifted her extravagant presents, like a luxury car and a seven-figure check. For her 80th birthday, their bond seemed unshakable. But now, even that foundation appears to be cracking.
All right. No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head.
And then there are the darker whispers about Janice herself. For years, she was celebrated as a proud mother of Mogul, but recent allegations cast her in a far more troubling light. In a lawsuit filed by Kirk Burroughs, the co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment, Janice stands accused of orchestrating a scheme to strip Burroughs of his stake in the label. According to Burroughs, Diddy stormed into his office in 1996 wielding a baseball bat and forced him to sign away his shares under duress. Those Cher's Burroughs' claims were later transferred to Janice, who allegedly played a behind-the-scenes role in the takeover. While Janice was not physically present during the alleged confrontation, Burroughs insists that she was the mastermind at pulling strings to consolidate power within the Combs family.
And to Rolling Stone, the doc features an alleged childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having sex. I mean, that was just there.
The accusations don't stop their. Burroughs, now reportedly homeless and living in shelters, claims that Janice maintained a facade of innocence while systematically sabotaging his career. He alleges that she made false promises to rectify the situation, all while benefiting from the very shares he was forced to surrender. She presented herself as an innocent bystander. Burroughs stated in court filings, but her actions tell a different story. The lawsuit demands a forensic audit of Bad Boy, Entertainment's finances, and the return of Bureau's 25% stake, a move that could unravel decades of carefully constructed narratives about the Combs empire.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at it.
But perhaps the most unsettling allegations against Janice are the ones that delve into her relationship with her son. Some have accused her of introducing Diddy to a world of excess and indulgence, and early age, setting the stage for the very behaviors now under scrutiny. While these claims remain unverified, they have fueled speculation about the extent of her influence, not just as a mother, but as a figure deeply embedded in the machinery of Diddy's empire. It's a narrative that complicates the public's perception of her. Is she a victim of circumstance, a mother blindsided by her son's alleged misdeeds? Or is she a more active participant, complicit in the very actions that have brought him to this point?
Be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off, or talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy would accept.
For Diddy, the psychological toll of these revelations is impossible to ignore in the courtroom. He appears a shadow of his former self. Gone is the swaggering mogul who once commanded stages and boardrooms with equal ease. Instead, he is a man under siege, fighting not just for his freedom, but for his legacy. The betrayal by his mother, whether real or perceived, has added a layer of emotional complexity to an already harrowing ordeal. It's one thing to face the condemnation of the public or the scrutiny of the legal system. It's another entirely to feel the ground shift beneath you as your closest ally steps away.
I've lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play the roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
And yet, even as the walls close and Diddy seems determined to maintain his composure, there are moments when his defiance shines through light, when his legal team challenges the validity of the prosecution's evidence or questions the motivations of his accusers. But these fleeting glimpses of resilience are overshadowed by the weight of the allegations and the growing sense that the man who once seemed untouchable is now perilously close to losing everything.
So are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them.
The trial is far from over, and with each passing day, new revelations threaten to upend what little stability remains in Diddy's world. The prosecution has promised more bombshells, and the defense is bracing for impact. But as the courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear: this isn't just a legal battle. It's a reckoning, a collision of power, loyalty, and truth that will leave no one unscathed. And as the focus shifts to the industry that enabled and perhaps even encouraged this behavior, the spotlight grows ever brighter and casting long shadows over those who thought they could remain in the dark. And just as the courtroom lights burn brighter on Diddy's unraveling empire, the next bombshell landed with the force of a wrecking ball. Cassie Ventura, the former partner who had once been the silent shadow in Diddy's high-profile life, took the stand. Her testimony wasn't just a recounting of events, it was an earthquake shaking the very foundation of. Everything Diddy had built, she didn't hold back. Every detail, every crack in her voice, every pause as she fought back tears, it painted a picture far darker than anyone could have imagined, and the industry, the public, the world was hanging on her every word.